U.S. Department of Agriculture has released sterile flies to counter the New World screwworm threat. A Dow chemical plant in Seadrift is hit by layoffs. And what do events like the World Cup have to do with air quality? This is South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Happy Friday. It's June 12th. KRGV reports that the U.S. Department of Agriculture released sterile flies on Thursday at a ranch in La Pryor to combat the New World screwworm threat. La Pryor is near Uvalde, where the first case was reported, and the site of one of 7 active cases of the flesh-eating parasite in the country. 6 of those are in Texas. The USDA is warning pet owners and farmers to check their animals for any open wounds. Anyone who suspects a screwworm infection should report it immediately. 25 News Now reports that Dow's Seadrift plant has been hit by over 100 layoffs, as confirmed by an anonymous source connected with the plant. Thursday's layoffs were the latest dismissals that have been in progress since the beginning of the year. Dow did not confirm Thursday the number of employees or locations where layoffs occurred company-wide. The layoffs are part of Dow's Transform to Outperform initiative. Chris 6 News reports the Texas Department of Transportation is warning drivers to expect elevated wait times at the Port Aransas ferry this summer. The delays are on account of seasonal demand, increased ship channel traffic, and an ongoing $64 million infrastructure project that limits the number of available ramps.
In the years past, they've done things more like Band-Aids to keep the bulkheads and the ferries running, but I think this is a really substantial fix.
That's Port Aransas City Manager David Parsons speaking with Chris 6. Drivers who want to avoid the traffic backup and delays can take Highway 361 to and from Port Aransas. The Corpus Christi 7-Day Film Project, or CC7D, returns next week. A cast and crew call will be held at House of Rock on June 17th. The annual filmmaking competition and screening was founded in 2007 as a way to celebrate local filmmakers while building the region's creative economy and real-world experience for actors and crew. 3 News reports that this year's edition will have some rules related to artificial intelligence.
We did meet with some filmmakers and got some feedback from them to help us develop our guidelines, because we take the human-made part of it serious, and AI is here, but that doesn't mean that we don't value the human-made aspect of it.
That was CC7D co-founder Heidi Hovda speaking with 3 News. CC7D has yet to post its rules related to AI, but you can check out the rest of CC7D's guidelines, history, and more on their official website. And on the note of artificial intelligence, the Republican Party of Texas wants to make regulating AI and large-scale data centers one of its top legislative priorities for next year. Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider says delegates to the party's convention underway in Houston are seeking a stronger measure of local control.
The party's Legislative Priorities Committee wants to give cities and counties final authority over zoning and land development for AI data centers. Patrick Van Dolen of San Antonio says rural residents in particular are frustrated.
Texas Commission on Environmental Quality is not doing that. They're basically rubber stamping these projects, and they're not getting they're not being responsive to the locals.
State Senator Paul Betancourt, who chairs the Senate Local Government Committee, says he's open to counties having more input.
As long as we don't end up with 254, completely patchwork quilt different views of how to do residential, commercial, and industrial development.
Earlier this year, Betancourt wrote Attorney General Ken Paxton that counties do not have the authority to ban data center construction. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
In sports, the FIFA World Cup is officially underway, and the matches could help researchers learn more about how large events affect air quality. KERA's Abigail Ruman reports.
Researchers at UT Arlington put environmental sensors at AT&T Stadium, known as Dallas Stadium for the tournament, and DFW International Airport to monitor air quality before, during, and after the World Cup. Yunyao Lee directs UTA's Atmospheric Intelligence and Modeling Lab.
The World Cup gave us a real-world stress test because we don't know what happens for the traffic or if a lot of people come in.
Lee says the World Cup could provide critical data to researchers and policymakers, especially as North Texas continues to be one of the fastest-growing regions in the country. I'm Abigail Ruman in Dallas.
With the World Cup finally here, it's promising a big economic impact on the North Texas region. But as KERA's Dylan Duke reports, some experts say the soccer organization's projections are exaggerated.
At least $1.5 billion in economic impact on Dallas, a $17 billion boost in U.S. GDP, 185,000 new jobs, more healthy humans. These are just some of the benefits North Texas and FIFA officials say the World Cup will bring. But is any of it actually true? Experts KERA spoke with were skeptical at best.
Yeah, I guess they'd have something of a little boomlet in sales tax revenue that lasts for a few weeks, and then it just goes back to where it was before. So in the grand scheme, it doesn't really matter that much.
Colm Clark is a professor of economics at Southern Methodist University. He explained that economic projections from big sports events like the World Cup are generally exaggerated. Even President Donald Trump at an event with FIFA President Gianni Infantino last year sounded suspicious.
It's expected to drive more than $30 billion, Johnny. I don't know about that. That sounds like a lot of money. No, that's true. Are you sure?
Clark said the real economic benefit comes when a country or local city starts investing in themselves so that they are a viable option to host a World Cup match in the first place. That means having robust airports, highways, public transportation, and entertainment districts.
When the games come to town, it's sort of like a validation, like, yes, you are a serious city that did make yourself an obvious host.
So even if it is a temporary bump, there will be a boost to economic activity around the games. People will be flying into the country to spend money on hotels, alcohol, food, and their favorite team's jersey. But there's one big cost that comes with hosting the World Cup that might offset the economic bump: safety. Some host cities are allocating tens of millions of dollars of their budget to provide security for the matches, which they legally must provide. The federal government has a $625 million rebate program to try and make up the difference for host cities like Arlington. But at the end of the day, it's taxpayer dollars that will be subsidizing these games for the hope of a profit. Bob here is a professor of sports management at the University of North Texas. He said he's not sure if Arlington, which is hosting more matches than any other host city, will make its money back on hosting the games. But it could get something much more valuable in return: a chance to be on the world stage.
This tournament gives us the opportunity to show themselves to the rest of the world, saying, hey, you know what, this is a modern, economic powerhouse. Not necessarily, a bunch of oil ranchers and, cowboys all wearing guns.
So individual host cities are hoping that the global spotlight will benefit them, but the federal government under President Donald Trump's second administration hasn't been nearly as welcoming. From his global tariffs to increased immigration enforcement that's caused a drop in tourism to the war in Iran, the world is reorganizing itself to rely less on America. And that will have a real impact on the economic benefit of the World Cup if it results in less international visitors, who really drive spending and hotel bookings. Current FIFA projections assume 40% of attendees will be international fans.
The FIFA might have their own relations, their corporate partners who fly in people, which might be separate allotments. But even then, it seems like 40% seems to me like a lot.
So who's the real winner of these games at the end of the day? It's FIFA. They are projected to rake in over $11 billion from the World Cup. Stephen Haynes is a professor of managerial economics at the University of Texas at Dallas. He said sports organizations like FIFA will get a massive payday from the merchandise and marketing sales alone.
For instance, like the Super Bowl, most of that money doesn't go to the local government. It goes to the NFL and to the teams.
FIFA is a nonprofit, and they say the money they make gets reinvested back into the game of soccer. So maybe at the end of the day, it isn't a single legal entity or person benefiting, it's soccer, the game at the center of the whole event. I'm Dylan Duke in Dallas.
And San Antonio Spurs fans are looking for their rabbit foots and other good luck charms as the Spurs face a do-or-die finals game tomorrow night against the New York Knicks. Texas Public Radio's Brian Kirkpatrick has the story.
There is still a glimmer of hope the San Antonio Spurs can win their 6th NBA championship, but they must win 3 straight games, beginning with Game 5 at the Frost Bank Center. Texas Public Radio talked to Spurs fans downtown after the team blew a 29-point lead against the Knicks in Game 4 at Madison Square Garden. Fan Elizabeth Provencio says she has a game-time superstition she believes helps the Spurs.
When they're on a streak and they're doing well, I don't change my seat. I don't change anything that I'm doing, so we can keep the vibe going and help them ride that way all the way to a win.
Fan Deborah Garcia says she can bring the team luck with jewelry.
Yes, I wear a Spurs bracelet, and I won't forget to wear it. I always wear it when I go see the games.
And fan Tracy Calvert brings the silver and black good mojo the same way as the Spurs sisters from St. John Bosco on the west side.
Just pray. That's all you can do.
Go get out your good luck charms or say your prayers, San Antonio. We're going to need them very soon. I'm Brian Kirkpatrick in San Antonio.
And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.